in starting the company, I had nothing. I had no income source. We found that an office was actually cheaper than an apartment in Silicon Valley. So we got this dinky little office that had a leaky roof. It was just the nastiest place you can imagine.
And you lived in it too?
And I lived in it too and showered at the YMCA. This lasted for about 3 or 4 months. And the reason we chose this office, in addition to it being really cheap, was that there was an internet service provider on the floor below. So we were able to get really cheap internet access by drilling a hole in the floor and connecting to their server directly.
Offer me money. Offer me power. I don't care.
So you just don't care. You want to share what you have to say.
I'll say what I want to say, and if the consequence of that is losing money, so be it.
Young got no one that been calling me splurge. Let me jump right off the curb. Make this man fly like a bird. Spin on the first and the third.
But I'm not afraid of dying. I think it will come as a relief.
You're not personally interested in living longer? Are you happy at the moment?
I have been in the past.
Well, you know, he's got a lot of weight on his shoulders. I'm sure that part of him thinks I'd be easier just if this wasn't here at all.
The most common error of a smart engineer is to optimize a thing that should not exist.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And they say, well, why would people do that? Well, everyone's been trained in high school and college that you got to answer the question, convergent logic.
Yep.
So you can't tell the professor your question is dumb, or you'll get a bad grade. You have to answer the question.
Yep.
So everyone's basically, without knowing it, they got like mental straitjacket on. That is, they'll work on optimizing the thing that should simply not exist.
Hi. Hi. Hi.
Father was actually American from Minnesota, and my mom was born in Canada. So I do have some American background. In fact, a lot of people think like my name must be from some exotic location, but I was named after my great-grandfather, who was from Minneapolis, or actually St. Paul, I should say. And he was like a school superintendent and part-time sheriff in 1900. And I was named after him. So I'm actually from Africa, named after my American ancestor.
From the Midwest?
Yeah.
Of all places?
Right.
What took your family to South Africa?
My grandfather moved with all his kids and my mom and everyone to South Africa because he wanted to use it as a base of exploration. So he had this little plane that he liked to fly all over the place, and he flew it all through Africa and Asia, and he was the first person to fly from South Africa to Australia. And he did this in a plane with no electronic instruments, and in some places they had diesel, in some places they had gasoline, and he had to rebuild the engine according to whatever fuel they had. So it's lucky he survived on that one. But he was sort of an amateur archaeologist. He liked to explore things.
Just for exploration, just a quest for curiosity. Seems to run in the family.
Yeah, I guess so.
What percentage of your staff did you fire at Twitter? One of the great business stories of the year.
I think we're about 20% of the original size.
So 80% left.
Yes.
So
I mean, a lot of people voluntarily.
Sure, but it's 80% are gone from the day you took over.
That's correct. Yes.
So how do you run the company with only 20% of the staff?
It turns out you don't need all that many people to run Twitter.
But 80%? That's a lot.
Yes. If you're not trying to run some sort of glorified activist organization, and you're not care that much about censorship, then you can really let go of a lot of people, turns out. I was told by the banks that if I did not agree to settle with the SEC, that the banks would cease providing working capital and Tesla would go bankrupt immediately. So that's like having a gun to your child's head. So I was forced to concede to the SEC unlawfully, those bastards. I was forced to admit that I lied to save Tesla's life, and that's the only reason.